Welcome and thank you. My name is Desmond Byrne, and I'm responsible for customer support at RX Mobility. Welcome to our first webinar about RX Mobility to our Australian PCCA members. I'm just going to hold on for about 30, 40 more seconds just for more people to dial in, and then we'll start with the webinar. So just give us a few seconds, please. Thank you very much. And just while we're waiting for them, I'm going to introduce a couple of people. Troy Connolly from PCCA. Troy is responsible for PK software development, so it's a pleasure to have Troy here with us. Both Troy and I will be walking through RX Mobility and the PK integration with you. And we are being graciously supported by Jason Wheeler at PCCA in Houston, who is supporting the actual webinar and organizing the webinar today. So thank you guys for helping out. So I think we're going to start up. That's great, 1 minute past. So just a little bit of logistics. We have a couple of different speakers today, so therefore there may be delays switching between the two. Just bear that in mind. And also on the screen you'll see a large screen and a small screen. You can toggle between the two of them by just mousing over the small screen and increasing it, and then you can switch back to the other one. So you'll see when Troy and I switch between each other, there will be two different screens showing. And by way of thanks that we've offered all attendees a free high-definition video. The video is about what is compounding. It's a 60-second video with professional voiceover. It's customized for your brand, and it's to indicate the value proposition for your patients about what compounding is and why you might use it for different therapeutic categories. And we also have another offer for people who sign up to RX Mobility as a result of this webinar, and we're just going to show you a short video which is going to introduce RX Mobility and has the second offer. So I'll just hand it over to you, Jason, please, if you can put on that video, please.
Many patients do not adhere to their medication because of simple behavioral issues such as forgetfulness or procrastination. RX Mobility can help. RX Mobility is the only mobile app to integrate directly with PK Compounder, allowing you to automatically remind patients about their repeat fills, receive repeat fills directly to your to-do list, and notify patients when a script has been dispensed. You will receive weekly reports to show effectiveness, and the complete solution offers high levels of security. But what does this mean for you? Improved workflow, lower costs, and increased revenue. To help you target new patients and markets, RX Mobility is offering a social media marketing package to everyone who signs up at our first Australian webinar. Simply select your therapeutic category, plus which city or state you wish to target, and we'll do the rest.
So, thank you, Jason, for showing that short video. So yeah, we have a special offer, which is a social media marketing package. It's worth $500 US. We take over we pick a therapeutic category and we manage that social media marketing for 90 days, and we've had great success with it in the US. So I'll just talk a little bit about RX Mobility first, and we walk through some of the things related to it. RX Mobility is a refill patient engagement and marketing tool for compounding pharmacies, and it's provided exclusively to PCCA members. RX Mobility integrates with your PK dispensing software. And with RX Mobility mobile app, you can service and tether patients in your core markets and target new patients in adjacent markets. RX Mobility itself automatically takes refill and other pertinent information from PK software. It uses that information to remind patients to refill a script, to report on refill compliance, and to communicate to the patients when a script has been dispensed. It does this automatically without intervention by the pharmacist. So we've been working on RX Mobility for over 5 years. You might get from my accent that I'm based in Ireland, so London time zone, so it's getting late here. And we've had quite a lot of experience with patients and using mobile tools. And our experience is that patients do not adhere to medication primarily because of behavioral issues. It's not about pricing of the medication. It's not about the efficacy of the drugs. Really, nearly 70% of the reason that patients don't comply, they relate to behavioral issues. They relate to being a human being, forgetfulness, procrastination. And RX Mobility works because it gives you a tool to help counter negative patient behaviors such as forgetfulness and procrastination. And we do this using simple habit cues. We use messages and reminders to help change those behaviors. So what does RX Mobility comprise? Well, there's three main parts to it. On the patient side, there is a mobile app, and we're going to talk about that mobile app. The mobile app is branded for your business. It's downloadable for free from the App Store. It has push messaging integration, which means you don't have to send text messages anymore. It comes straight in via push messaging service, straight into the mobile app. It has a pharmacy portal as well, and it allows you to do additional services in the pharmacy portal, and that's connected into PK Compounder. So PK Compounder software is upgraded to integrate with RX Mobility. So the three of those tools work together to provide the service. So just a little bit about the app, and we're then going to show you a couple of screens about PK. The mobile app is branded for your business brand. So it's your colors, your logo, your design. You pick from a couple of different design templates, and we use your branding and your words, your content, your services, your contacts, your directions. They all go into it. When a patient goes looking for the app, they're not looking for RX Mobility or PCCA. They're actually looking for your business brand. So they're looking for your business on the App Store. And of course, the app is downloadable for free from the App Store, and it will be available for both Apple, so iOS devices, and also for Android devices, so on Google Play. The actual app itself does a number of different things. It shows patients things like your services, contact information, directions to your pharmacy location. People can email, they can consult from within the app as well by calling you. There's a news feed from the pharmacy. There's refill reminders or repeat fill reminders. There's order my repeat fill. There's order scripts. There's dose reminders. It can handle multiple patients. There's broadcast blast messaging marketing module, and it integrates with PK Compounder. The whole tool is highly secure. We comply with a piece of legislation called HIPAA, and the tool is really very, very secure. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about how it works with PK Compounder. So very simply, patient has the app on their cell phone, and they've opened the app. What they do is they put in a script number, so whatever script number you have, and they put in their date of birth. And that date of birth verifies who they are and validates who they are. And once they do that, then the script just arrives into your to-do list in PK. It comes straight into your to-do list, and you work through the various workflows that you have to create the compound, to manufacture the compound, work through the RX Watch or other workflow concepts that you have. And then once you are at the point of validation and you're ready to actually dispense the script, then we actually send a message straight to the app telling the patient that the script is ready to be dispensed. So that alert, and that all happens automatically. There's no need to be for you to do anything. It just occurs. And the really neat thing, though, is that we take information from PK software related to repeat fills, and we automatically generate repeat fill reminders based on the information in PK software. And what that does is that, let's say a patient is on a 30-day cycle for repeat fills. Then every 30 days, or based on the information as PK, that patient will actually get that automatic reminder. Again, you don't need to do anything. It just happens, and the whole cycle starts again. The patient gets the reminder. It opens up. The reminder is a push message. The push message has information related to the patient's name and the script. So the push message, when it's pressed, opens the app, opens the relevant patient, opens the relevant script, and all the patient needs to do is press refill. And once you do that, it arrives in your to-do list, and the cycle perpetuates. And that's sort of how it integrates with PK Compounder. So we're going to just walk through a little bit, and Troy is going to talk to you a little bit about PK software and show you some of the PK software screen. So Troy, I'll hand it over to you, please.
All right, thank you, Des. Yeah, as Desmond mentioned, this kind of revolves around the to-do system. We try to make it as easy and not introduce additional workflow into your already busy daily lives. So one of the biggest questions that I've been asked is, how do I see which prescriptions are linked to RX Mobility? So if I'm calling patients for refills, how do I know if it's already linked? I don't want to pester them and call them if they're already getting notifications on their phone. So we've gone through the software and added a bunch of places, a checkbox. So I'm just going to fly through these slides kind of quickly, and then I'll jump into the software and kind of give you the 10,000-foot view of how that works. So the first thing we add here on the prescription status screen, you'll notice up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a little RX Mobility checkbox. So when that gets associated to a prescription in RX Mobility's management system, that checkbox will automatically be checked. This requires no input on the user at the pharmacy. That should just happen automatically. So then as well on the prescription history screen on the patient's profile down here at the bottom, we've added this same checkbox here for each prescription. As you can see in this one, I've got one that's been associated and one that hasn't. So that's pretty straightforward. In the to-do management screen, we've also added that checkbox there. So if it's added manually into the to-do list, it won't have that checkbox. If it came from RX Mobility, that'll be checked. So then you can use that to filter. If you want to focus on just the RX Mobility scripts first, you can filter that down. And that's just the normal to-do system. Not much has changed there. If you're not using that today, that might be a little bit of a change, but you can think of it as just kind of a queue that all those prescriptions are going to come into, and then you just know which ones to work on and just go down the line. So that's kind of how that works. Let's see, next. We've also added some flags in the refill reminder reports. I know a lot of people like to use these, as I had mentioned, to call patients back when their refills are due. So if you notice here at the bottom, we've added a flag in there to not include specific RXs that are enabled for RX Mobility. So you can run this report. That's going to show you all prescriptions that are due within the parameters of that report. So if you need to call them, you can go through that list. But if they've already been flagged for RX Mobility, they would have automatically gotten a message. So you may not want to call those, so you can flip that flag on, and then that'll filter those out automatically for you. And then also, this is the refill reminder report, and there's a column on the right-hand side. So if you're not using that filter, you'll get kind of mixed data there. The ones that are checked obviously are linked. The ones that aren't are going to be unchecked, like the one on the bottom there. The log of scripts report has also been updated. If you notice there on filter 1 and 2, there's a filter for RXs linked and then RXs that are not linked. So that's that. And whoops, let me jump ahead. I'm jumping ahead there. All right, so how does this all work? There is let me close this real quick. Oh, come on. Yeah, we'll just close that. There we go. So this is it's a small little application you're going to install on your server. This is kind of how the communication in the back end of RX Mobility works. So you should never really need to touch this. Once you can contact support, we'll help you set it up. And then it's just going to run in the background as a little icon in your system tray. You can always open it and look at the log just to verify that it's running. I know a lot of people, will call us asking, I'm not getting messages. How do I validate that this is running? You can really just look at that log. As long as that application is running in the background, it's going to be communicating to the RX Mobility backend, and there's really nothing you need to do from the user's perspective. So I'm going to close that and flip back over into the compounder here. So again, this is the to-do list where everything's going to kind of come into. So you'll notice here I've got a prescription in the top that's flagged for RX Mobility. I've also got some other things in here, follow-ups with patients, make logs, but all of these filled prescriptions, these two here did not come in through RX Mobility, the one at the top did. So, and then I'm going to flip back over to the patient history again. As you can see here again on the right-hand or left-hand side, I've got these two checkboxes there. That's the ones that have been associated to RX Mobility. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up. Nope. Again, up here at the top is our RX Mobility checkbox. Just letting you know that that one's associated. I'm going to dive into, just show you that refill reminder report again. So in this report, if I run it for the next 7 days, 14 days. I think I switched my database on here. I think I may have messed that one up. There we go. So this is the refill reminder report. I've got this prescription that's coming up due in the next couple weeks. And again, you can see the RX Mobility checkbox on there. Now, if I were to run this report again, and I don't include that on there, it should come up with a blank report, which that's what we would expect. I'm going to jump back over to the log of scripts real quick and just show you those two filters. So if I run my scripts for last month, I should get a couple in there, which there's my 2 prescriptions. And if I go apply these filters, it can show me the ones that are not linked. I should get one back, which is my Acacia. Or I'm sorry, that was the linked, and then the not linked, I should get back my other Vicodin one. That's kind of what we'd expect there. So from the PK side, there shouldn't be a whole lot of changes in your daily workflow. We've just kind of added some filters in there to point out when prescriptions are linked to link to RX Mobility, and just some kind of tools to help you with that on the reporting side. So with that, I'll flip it back over to Desmond, and he's going to kind of show you a little bit of how the app works, and maybe a little bit of the back end on some of the additional features in the RX Mobility side.
Thank you, Troy. So if you just want to flick over to the other screen, you can see my screen, the largest, and increase that size of the screen. You should be able to see a mobile app. I'm just going to bring up my cell phone as well on the screen. So just 1 minute. Let me do that. So this is my iPhone. And this is sort of what a mobile app will look like, an RX Mobility app. This is actually on a cell phone, operational. It's for a dummy pharmacy, a pretend pharmacy called PWRX Compounding Pharmacy. You can see a variety of different functions on the actual app itself. One of the things that you don't really see, though, is the push messaging, because you can't see that, so you actually operate it. But the push messaging is effectively a way to communicate with the mobile app. It replaces SMS or text messaging, and it allows you to communicate in a rich contextual way with the person who has the app. You don't need to know their cell phone number. You don't need to know their email address in order to send a push message. The app just has to exist on their device. And the beauty about push messages is that you can embed other information in a message. For example, you can embed script information in a message. So if the patient has multiple scripts and you want to communicate about one of those scripts, then that message that you're communicating about actually contains information about that script and opens the relevant script on the app. So I'm just going to walk through a couple of different buttons on the app and just walk through what it actually does. It starts off at the top, and it is the repeat fill button on top. And just to let you know that we have localized the words for the Australian market, so there is a repeat fill button as opposed to a refill, which is an American word. So there is localization that we have completed. You click the repeat fill button, and I just bring you through to an area that has patient healthcare data. So they have a PIN that they set up themselves, and here you have multiple patients with multiple different scripts. This is an example of it. So I've got Mary Johnson, and Mary Johnson is on 5 different scripts, and each of the scripts has different statuses. The statuses can be refill, it can be wait, which is indicated by an egg timer, it can be completed, which is indicated by the green tick. The information on the actual medication itself, when the next refill is due, and the fact that the pharmacy is processing the order, all of that information there, so the status is there. There is an option for people to put in a new script if they'd like to do so. They can just press the plus button, which I'll mouse over that here and show you that. Press that plus button, and they can actually enter a new script. It's really easy for them to do so. And this is done by some of our members when maybe the patient is remote and they just want to get a script to you so you can get working on the compound and put it through your process, because typically it takes 24 hours plus. And they can get the script out to you, and then they get you the original and put it on file so that you have that. So very quickly, you just Mary Johnson, and you put in Mary Johnson. She might put in the script name. I'm just going to put in VersaBase here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she won't have the script number at that stage, but she may have indications from a physician that the refill frequency. She may then be asked to take she want to take an image of the script, and I'll just take a very quick image of this script here. Again, a dummy script. I'll use that photograph. We can customize your delivery and payment methods according to what you have in your process. So we've got a couple in this one here. Let's say I'm just going to put FedEx and Visa on file, and that gets sent. Order gets created and gets sent into the pharmacy, and it's successful, and then it schedules a reminder, and the refill reminder or the repeat fill reminder will be sent on March 11th, 2017. So the patient will receive a repeat fill reminder. So that's how the actual that's that particular button, that functionality. And then there's a dose reminder functionality. And the dose reminder functionality enables a patient to set up daily, weekly, monthly, or customized dose reminders. They can have multiple dose reminders in a day, and they can set up those there. Again, it's done by patient, and you hit the PIN number, they put it in, they pick a patient, and they set up a dose reminder. So if I pick Mary Johnson again, I can just add a dose reminder. You can see all the different options here for Mary to set up her own dose reminder. So it's really easy, very useful for them if they're on some long-term medication. Below that, then, we have the actual marketing section. And just below that, there's this black band, and that scrolls through the previous 3 marketing messages that you've sent to them. So in Rx Mobility, you have the ability to send a push message to everybody that's downloaded the app. Typically, it's for things like events, demonstrations, special offers, maybe days that you're closed. You can send out that information to everybody simultaneously that has the app, and that all scrolls through there. And just below that information then is the contact us, and the contact us is where you have the call functionality, email, website, location, direction for your particular, so they can get to your pharmacy, and then a list of different services that you have. And then lastly is the news section, and the news section here is a variety of different things related to individual messages that you send to patients about scripts, repeat fill reminders that have been sent out automatically, and then marketing messages. So you can see that the message on top is indicating that a particular order was completed. And if I press on that, it'll actually bring me through to the relevant order that was completed if I want to look at it, and it'll highlight it. So the particular order is there, and it's just highlighted in yellow. I don't know if you can see that on my screen, but it's just highlighted there. Then there is further down, there's different messages from the pharmacy saying the order will be sent out, for example, next Thursday. So maybe there was a delay and you wanted to indicate to them that the order will be sent out on Thursday, so it's manually done. And then just below that, and just scroll that up, is thank you for downloading our new mobile app, special thank you gift. And you can embed a link into that to go to your website or to go to some other link that you may have. So that's sort of the news section. So they're the primary functions of the app. A lot of the functionality is sort of hidden because it sort of connects with PK in a certain way, and I'm just going to work through that now a little bit for you and show you some of how that operates. So if for example, when the tool is, if you have it integrated with PK software, then the patient has a script number, and they can enter a script number in a screen that looks like this, and they put in their date of birth, and the date of birth validates who they are. And that sort of starts a whole cycle of events because that connects with PK, and effectively the app is synchronized with PK software for that particular script for that particular patient. And of course, there's a couple of different scenarios when the patient does this, and we have to test for those scenarios. So we have different alerts that may come and get sent to the patient if, for example, the script wasn't available or the date of birth was wrong, for example. So we have these messages coming back from PK, and PK software drives the alert messages straight into the patient. So, for example, here an incorrect date of birth was input, giving an indication to the patient that they have the wrong date of birth. So there's different alerts coming through to them, but it's as simple as putting in a script number, putting in a date of birth, and then the actual the repeat fill arrives on your to-do list. The refill reminder screen, then, if you have the refill reminders, they are actually sent automatically, and they're driven by the day supply field in PK software. So, for example, I just put in here the refill frequency, or the refill period is 30 days. So every 30 days, the patient receives a push message that he or she should send through a repeat fill. The push message comes into the device. It comes in as a push messaging center alert. They can elect to press on it. They press it. It opens the app. It opens the medication. They press OK, and then the repeat fill comes through to your to-do list. And of course, they can't ignore that reminder. And what we do in the pharmacy portal is we give you additional tools to communicate with the patient in outside of the PK software. The day supply field in PK drives that refill frequency. So it's actually whatever information you have in PK software about the patient, that's what's driving the actual push message to remind them about the repeat fill. In addition, we actually display the number of refills remaining. And again, that comes from PK software. So the information tells the patient, in this instance, there's 5 repeat fills remaining. And that's driven by PK software as well. And that's the detail that's there in the actual individual script. So a couple of different refill scenarios and a couple of different examples of one. For example, there's no refill. There's no refills remaining. So an alert will actually be sent to the patient on entering the script number and a date of birth. It comes like this. It happens pretty much instantaneously, and it tells them that there's no refills remaining. That comes in on the cell phone. Another scenario would be that you may have a patient on long-term medication, and they have, say, 6 months initially on a script number, and you need to have a new script number because there's going to be the medication is going to be updated. Then what you can do is you can create a new script from the old one, and what RX Mobility does is that it updates the existing order with the new script number. So that comes through to the patient, and so it still keeps working in the same way, even though there's a new script number. But you gotta create a new script number from the old individual script. So the other type of alerts coming from the script alerts coming from PK, they're all sent automatically, and there's a couple of different types. So, for example, when you dispense a script, when it's ready to be dispensed, then there's a couple of different ways that you may have your workflow, but one of them is, for example, location tracking. And if you scan at the completion station, then the location tracker will automatically notify RX Mobility that the item has been dispensed, and that will therefore send a message to the patient that the order is complete and ready for collection. It also works with RS Watch, a bit more manual, and third method is the validation of the RX. So we can put that validation point at any place in your actual process, so that it's basically, we're not changing your existing process. The whole workflow is very, very seamless. The other message that can get sent by PK software to the patient is a rejected message. And that would occur if you removed the script from the to-do list without filling it. Then again, we send a message to the patient, then the script has been rejected. And that comes again from PK. So then, while all that sort of information, that workflow is very much automatic, there are certain things that you can't do within PK, like, say, marketing push messages. And what we've done is we've created a pharmacy portal whereby you can engage further with patients by logging into the pharmacy portal, and you can get other pieces of information that are not available in PK. And I guess the analogy I would use for the pharmacy portal is to think about it as a phone, or say your phone to call patients. So on one hand, you have your operating system for the pharmacy's PK software. On the other hand, the phone is the way you reach out to patients. And this is one way to think about the pharmacy portal, but it's a lot more powerful than the phone, and it's a lot quicker to use than the phone. And the type of services that are available in the RX Mobility Pharmacy Portal are marketing messages, so that you can broadcast one mass push message to everybody simultaneously that has downloaded the app. There is a refill reminder report, and that comes back to the workflow whereby the repeat fill gets sent to the patient automatically based on PK, what the information that's in PK software. But of course, patient can send through a repeat fill and it goes into your to-do list. But if they don't, then the refill reminder report tells you that they haven't, and it allows you to escalate it further. So you can send additional messages with content at time of your choosing to those patients to remind them again that they need to refill. So again, it saves you on a phone call. There is secure script messages, so you can securely message one-on-one with the patient about the script. So you may have tracking number that you want to send them for its shipment, or you may have other information that you want to send to the patient about the script, and you can do that from within this tool. You can receive new scripts into the tool. So the repeat fills come into the to-do list, but the to-do list can only accept repeat fills. But RX Mobility does allow you to have new scripts come in. There's a website component to the tool as well. So we have a website repeat fill form that you can integrate into your website, and all of the repeat fills will appear in the one place, so from your website and from the mobile app. And lastly, we send you weekly adherence reports. So you get reports on the effectiveness of the process. How many downloads, how many users, how many repeat fills, how many new scripts are coming through from RX Mobility. So the type of messages then that you can send from the RX Mobility Pharmacy Portal are, and you can do them manually, they are private and they're to a single patient about their script. And, what we've seen primarily in terms of the workflows that these are used in, one is a repeat fill follow-up. So it's just to follow up on the repeat fill. You use the various PK reporting options that Troy was showing earlier on. And you can decide then to use the RX Mobility Pharmacy Portal to actually communicate with those patients about the repeat fills if they haven't already sent the repeat fill through and are not arrived in your to-do list. That's one workflow that we see it used in a lot. And the other workflow we see it used in a lot is private messages about scripts, confirming receipt of the script. Some patients like to have that. Sending through tracking numbers, communicating a delay, communicating a lead time on receipt of the script if there's a special chemical being used. So you can do all that. So for example, in here I've sent one through with script received, delivery tomorrow before 10 a.m. And you can send those through manually to the patient. So it saves on phone calls, it saves inbound phone calls from them saying, oh, where's my script? And it saves you having to call them. Any phone call takes 5, 6, 7 minutes to actually do it. So it's saving that amount of time because these messages take seconds to do. Then the other area that you have in the pharmacy portal is this marketing module. And this marketing module allows you to send, again, a blast message to everybody that's downloaded the app simultaneously, and allows you to embed links into the message as well. So for example, here I have maybe a discount promotion on all RX skincare products. And there's a more information link, and the more information link can bring you back to your website, and you can have a page on your website which talks more about that promotion, for example. So it's a very simple thing to use. It can handle hundreds, thousands of different of apps. So all you do is enter it once, and it gets sent to everybody simultaneously. And we do that over a period of about an hour. One of the things that we got from members that we found to be very useful was we create these customized marketing materials for you, because the patient has to understand the value proposition of the mobile app first. and you have to get it out into their hands, and that is one thing that has to occur. And so to help you do that, we've created a variety of different marketing materials, and they're all customized for your business. So that means your logo and your brand. We have a variety of different in-store marketing materials, things like point-of-sale rack cards, items that you can print on a local printer, business cards. We have a variety of different digital materials, Facebook ads, YouTube, URLs, other things that we've created for digital marketing. And we've also created a variety of different videos that we send to you. And so all of these items are communicated to you, and we have two parts to our training for you. One of the parts of training is actually how to use it and what workflows to consider, and the other is about marketing and a marketing plan. And the marketing plan gets into, yes, marketing the app, but it also talks about marketing your business, because they're sort of symbiotic and they work together. And we find that, great benefit for members in the United States, that they're actually getting increased business coming through because of the marketing plan, particularly on the digital side. It's very, very effective. So what kind of results can you expect from RX Mobility? For a mid-sized compounder, these are the sort of statistics that we've seen. So not a huge compounder, but a mid-size, we're seeing 1,000 plus downloads of the mobile app. We're seeing 10% of total script volume coming from just RX Mobility refills. And total script volume, I mean new scripts and repeat fills. So that's coming through from RX Mobility. We see a 3 to 4% repeat fill revenue increase from RX Mobility users, primarily related to a compressed refill frequency, refill period. So it reduces that slightly, and that gives you about a 3 or 4% revenue lift. And we expect as well that every month you will reduce your phone time by 1 hour for every 8 scripts that are received through RX Mobility. So that's a cost saving. You can multiply that 1 hour and multiply it by the number of scripts you're getting through, and you can get a sense of this cost saving for your own business. So there's a couple of things just to tie us up. We're going to have a question session now, but we have a free video for people who've attended the webinar by way of thanks. It's the videos of what is compounding. All you've got to do is send through an email to rxmobilityapp@gmail.com. Give us your pharmacy name and give us your high-quality logo, and then we'll create that video for you. And as I said earlier on, we have a package for anyone who signs up as a result of the webinar, which is a social media marketing package, and we manage Facebook, and we create other assets for you and other content for you over a 90-day period focused on a therapeutic category and tied into a local market. So those are an offer. So, Troy, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you covered it all. I guess, I think we're close to the end here, but if you want to enter in any questions you've got there in the right-hand pop-out, you can feel free to enter those in, I think.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, if you'd like us to answer any questions, please pop them in and we'll answer them for you. So I have one here about cost and pricing, so it's a good question. Thank you. How this works is that PK has an upgrade, and it's a one-off fee for the upgrade. Frank Rowie will be able to give you that exact number. It's not expensive upgrade costs. And RX Mobility itself is a monthly fee. So for unlimited patients, unlimited downloads, unlimited pharmacists managing it, unlimited push messages, it's $329 a month. That's 329 Australian dollars a month. From a contractual perspective, we don't try to tie you in and handcuff you into a contract. It's 30 days notice. It's working for you. It's not. The only thing that we ask in return for that is that you give it a real shot up front and you do the marketing and work through the marketing plan that we develop in conjunction with you. Is there any other?
I've got one here, Des.
Question?
The question was, how does it know when to send the messages when it's completed? So how that works, and I'll go into detail a little bit on that, is it ties into the location tracking or the RX watch system. And those are two slightly different workflow systems. And you can use one or the other. They both have what we call a completion station. So once the prescription has reached one of those completion stations in either of the workflow systems, that's when the software knows that this prescription is truly ready to be picked up. So it's gone through all its checks and it's gone through the lab and been made, and it's truly ready, sitting to be picked up by the patient. So that's generally going to be your last workstation in one of your workflows. The third option is, if you don't want to use either of the workflow systems, you can tie it into the RX validation process. And the way that works is you scan the barcode that has a tracking number for the individual prescription, as well as verify that this is the right lot number for this prescription. And then at that point, it can also queue that message as well. And then within seconds, that message gets shot off, goes to RX Mobility, and gets pushed out to the patient. So generally, it's within about a 10-15 second turnaround is how quick that is.
So I got a quick question on localization. So I've used the word refill a lot today, but you don't need to worry about it. That's just habit at this point. But in actual fact, we developed this product initially for retail pharmacies in the UK and Ireland, and so therefore we have localized it for those markets with words like repeat prescriptions or repeat fills. So that's not a problem. It is localized for the Australian market, and it is specifically defined for the actual RX Mobility itself. Has been optimized for the compounding industry.
Correct. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that was probably my fault too. I'm just in the mindset of that. But yes, it does work for repeat. So in Australia, it works a little differently, Des. I don't know if we've gone into too much detail on it, but every dispensing gets a unique RX number. So it does know when you do the next dispensing, it's smart enough to know that this is getting a new RX number, and there's another unique identifier between the compounder and RX Mobility. So it's not based off of an RX number. There's another unique identifier behind the scenes that you don't really see, but it's there. That's kind of what that checkbox is. That's throughout the software. As long as that checkbox is there, that means that it's got that unique identifier to RX Mobility, and then that unique identifier will follow through each of the repeat dispensings. So that's kind of how that works. It's a little different than it is in the U.S. here, but it still works appropriately down there in Australia. So.
Okay. There's a question on dispensing data related to from PCCA. Does PCCA get access to our dispensing data, Troy?
No, we don't capture that anywhere. No, we don't.
No.
The communication there is direct from your store directly to. There's a service bus in the middle, but it's out in the cloud. It doesn't. We don't cache any of that data anywhere. We don't store it. It goes directly to RX Mobility's back end, but it does not come through PCCA. No.
No, and the whole data and privacy is a really important part of this. We're under strict guidelines in the United States. There's a piece of legislation called HIPAA, Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. And that means that we can't let any data slip out or be compromised for any patient. And data could be as simple as a patient name and a medication name and the ability to tie the two together. So none of that information is accessible or stored in a way that's accessible or used by anybody because we couldn't do it. It would be effectively illegal for us to do it. There's a question want to ask, in a city area of the US, is there a higher refill retention factor compared to rural areas? I'm not sure. Honestly, I've never broken it out other than to say we have a lot of members in both cities and in rural areas. And I can't say, honestly, cannot say who has a better performance with the app in terms of refill retentions. So I apologize, Marina, for that. I could try and find out for you and come back to you on it and let you know. But by and large, what we have found in terms of, who's been successfully deploying this and who's got a lot of value out of it, it's based on getting the app into the hands of the patient, because once they have the value proposition, they understand it and how it works, they just use it. It just becomes part of their life. They just use it. There's another question here. Can the patient write a note through the app when ordering a refill? They cannot at this point in time, no. If the refill is going to be sent through to PK, then software directly, then they put in a script number and date of birth and it validates it, and that's it. Once it synchronizes the script, though, the patient can add notes to the script once it's on their phone. So they can add a comment, and they can add other information to it once it's synchronized to their phone. And the pharmacy is alerted to any of those changes. So if the patient changes, say, a name or an address or adds a comment, then you will actually receive an alert. It'll tell you in the pharmacy portal that there's been a change by the patient to some piece of information. But in terms of, taking a picture of a note, or which maybe that's what I understood initially, you can't take a picture of a note and send it through the app when it's integrated with PK Compounder. But they can communicate in other ways by just modifying information. Can the patient send the pharmacy a message or a question without ordering a script? No. This is very much based on a script-based system. They can email you from the app if they want to do that. They can call you from within the app. But it's very much the communications are between you and the patient about the individual script. So that's no, Tom, that's not possible to do it that way. Is there any other questions there? Anyone else would like to cover? The other thing I just want to highlight is, sorry.
I said I didn't see any more. Go ahead.
Okay. So just to let you know that we have had a couple of members trialing the tool for the last 6 months in Australia, and it works really effectively. So Des Harp from My Life, My Health Compounding in Brisbane has been using it. He's put in a drive-through now, so he has a drive-through pickup, for example, in the app, and he's, it's starting to be quite successful for him. It does take about 3 to 6 months to get the app out there and get patients using it, but it's starting to happen for him. So there are, the app works very effectively in the Australian market. The performance has been working really well, so I've been really happy with those tests over the last 6 months. If there's anything else, then you can contact Frank Rowie and his team at PCCA in Australia. They'd be more than happy to help out. If you'd like to have a demo of the tool, I am more than happy to do a demo for you, as long as it's not too close to midnight or 1 a.m. in the morning. I don't mind getting up early or being there at 10 p.m. at night, and we could do it then. And typically, if you want to have a one-on-one demo, it takes about 10 or 15 minutes plus a couple of minutes for questions, and you get a really good sense of it. So we'll be delighted to do those demos for you. Just contact Frank's team at PCCA in Australia, or you could email me at that email address that I have here, which is rxmobilityapp@gmail.com, and I could set that up for you. So after the webinar, what we'll do is we'll email everybody and ask them for their pharmacy name and get your logo from you, and we'll send out those videos in about 10, 12 days' time. Are there any other questions from anybody before we finish up? I don't see any more questions coming in. Troy, do you want to add anything to that?
I think I'm good right now. I appreciate everyone's time today.
Yeah, thank you very much, everybody. Much appreciate your time, and we look forward to working with some of you guys in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.